What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at MicroStrategy today. We're going to go over the SP 500 and Bitcoin as well. So we have our two trend lines that are trending downward. We've been kind of in this dilemma if this is the trend line here or if this one, or if both are in play actually, because when you look at this downward sloping trend line, we respected it. We finally got a break out of it. We got a solid retest. And now we're holding this horizontal level of support. So let's see how it plays out. We still have to break this trend line here, which we've also been respecting 3 or 4 times here, 4 touches, and it looks like we got to push back off of it. So let's see if price can make its way back up and eventually break through it. And then we get this exact same move here, but right here. So we get that same, so maybe we chop a little bit more, and then we get what I'm talking about, this move here. Here we get a break, retest, and move up. That's what we would love to see. Overall, looks super bullish still. Nothing to worry about, in my opinion. Price action looks a little funny. Looks like it's trying to push back down, but let's see, because we're still in the middle of the week. So let's see if this turns into a nice green candle. We're still green, but it's starting to already turn bearish, as you can see the wick up top. This is where price was yesterday, and it's already pushing back down. We did have a nice little run up after hours with the tariff talk with Trump. Bitcoin rallied up to like 88,800 or something like that, and then immediately tanked after. It was like 85,000 once he was done talking, and then throughout the rest of the night, it ended up dropping down to 81,000, I believe. But we'll go over that in a little bit. Well, it looks like MicroStrategy is trying to make its way up. In terms of the SMAs, we are still fighting that 20-day right now. We want to reclaim the 20 and the 50 to get that strong bull trend upward, how we've seen in the past. Because you can see once the 20 and 50, once we crack that, this is the last time we broke between above both of them at the same time, and we just went on a crazy tear. So every time we break above, we get some kind of sharp move up. But it's usually, it looks like it's either like a little fake out or it's a strong move up whenever we break these. So hopefully we can do that same thing again and we get a long sustainable breakout along with strength underneath price. On the weekly, we are still underneath the 20 week. So we need to get above that while breaking this trend line to move up to the midline. Bollinger Bands are kind of in the same spot between the blue and the green. Nothing to see here. On the daily, we definitely need to hold this blue band because we held it initially and now we already opened underneath and now we're staying underneath. So let's see if we can get that close above the blue and make our way up. When we take a look at MSTR divided by Bitcoin, we already have our breakout. We didn't really get a retest, but maybe we never end up getting a retest and we just continue to get higher highs, higher lows, but we did kind of break this upward sloping trend line. And it looks like we retested it and now we're pushing down lower, but let's see if we can reclaim it and get price to get a sharp move up, close back above here, retest, and continue up. So we can see that MicroStrategy continues to outperform Bitcoin. On the SMAs, on the daily, we're holding above all 3, which is a great sign. We definitely want that to get going. It's the same concept as when we were looking at the MicroStrategy video. When we crack above the 20 and 50, we normally get our nice pushes up. So let's see if we get another push up higher. And on the SMAs, we were above the 20 week temporarily. We pushed underneath, and now we're kind of fighting to see if we can hold that on this week and eventually move up. And on Bitcoin, we had a strong move to the upside. I mean, once he started talking, this thing rallied all the way up to 88,500 and then pulled all the way back. I thought this potentially was going to be the actual breakout because we haven't been able to have a sustainable close on the daily outside of here. And since it was already after hours, I was thinking maybe since it's like 4 or 5 p.m. Let me take a look actually. It was, so we got to close after 11 o'clock and then 3, So 4 p.m., probably like 4:30, something like that. We're already pushing up higher. I was like, oh man, maybe this is going to be the close that we've been waiting for. And then it absolutely tanked after that. And we ended up pushing down to 81.7. But it looks like we're creating lower lows in terms of this move. So let's see how it plays out. Hopefully it turns into something kind of like a double bottom. It's technically not going to be a double bottom because this part is already lower, but if we get something where price turns around, that would be nice to see. Go back to the daily. We're just back to the same thing that we've already been looking at, where we already said that we have to be wary of this trend line down here because it looks like I was saying over here that we could retest, go down, and continue our way down. And it looks like we've already, I wasn't sure what would happen, but I was saying we had to be worried about this area, and it ended up playing out where we did have to actually be worried about it, and it looks like it happened again. But on this one, I thought, with that momentum, I thought this was actually going to be a sustainable breakout, but I was absolutely wrong. So let's see if we get another bounce and retest, or this is actually going to be the real move where we can finally, maybe we chop again, break out, retest, and move our way up. In terms of the SMAs on Bitcoin, we're underneath all three on the daily, which is not a good sign. We definitely want to get back above the 200. But when you actually look at it, there was actually a lot of resistance above our head, which makes sense why price struggled, because we had the 200-day above us, which is super strong, and we had the 50 above us. So we pushed up, and then we got rejected off of those, along with a minor level of support and resistance, and this trend line. So you had like 4 things on top of your head holding price down, and that's just on the daily SMAs. So we're still stuck between the 20 and the 50, really nothing to see here. On the daily Bollinger Bands, that was also another reason for price to come down. We hit the red band and pushed it back down, and the blue band was above us at the time. So we had even more confluence together to put price down. Now we're stuck between the blue and the green. On the weekly, we're still at the green band, so let's see if we get a sharp move to the upside from here, and maybe we get somewhat of a double bottom here and move our way back up into this range. This is a range we need to be in. We need to be between this blue and red band in this trading range here, from 91,000 to 109,000. That's where we want to be. From that point on, we can always have a solid breakout, and when that breakout happens, then we're on the run to all-time highs and beyond. On Bitcoin, we also had gold rallying ahead of Bitcoin, which can sometimes be a leading indicator, so that's also a great sign. So let's see where things take us, but usually gold leads before Bitcoin goes. As you can see here, we had that rally up, then Bitcoin followed, rallied up. Let's see if Bitcoin follows here. Here they kind of moved simultaneously. It started a couple weeks prior, but we'll see how it plays out, of course. But this is definitely a good sign. You can see here we started rallying up prior to to Bitcoin moving up, and so on. So it happens time and time again. I think it's just a matter of time before we start rallying up. And then when you account for global liquidity, when you have that 70 to 100-day lag, Bitcoin normally starts running as global liquidity is a leading indicator. So you can see it happening time and time again, where we ran here, we didn't start getting our move till about 77 days. So let's see, maybe if this is the bottom, then it would line up with 70 days, but we won't know until we have a more sustainable move. But right now, it's been 91 days, but this could have been the bottom here, and we ended up we're already in the beginning of this leg here, and we're going to make our sharp move up. But global liquidity has been absolutely tearing up, which means Bitcoin should absolutely tear up as well, which would be a great sign. That's what we want to see. We want to see it rip up higher. Here's another example where it led Bitcoin. This one was 84 days. So let's see where it plays out. I think if this is the bottom, then it makes total sense with the 70 days. But if Bitcoin makes a move similar to this, then I could see us definitely getting to mid 100s easily. Because once Bitcoin gets going, it's gonna rip. It's gonna melt up, and people are gonna make a ton of money. And shorts will get absolutely burned. So We're just waiting for that moment to happen, but I'm very optimistic. MicroStrategy looks good in my opinion, and I think if Bitcoin runs up 80%, we can see MicroStrategy run up easily. I don't know, let's see. If Bitcoin runs up 80% from here, I could see MicroStrategy doing maybe 240 to 300 maybe. So I have to zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, I could see if Bitcoin runs up 80%, I could see MicroStrategy 3xing, so 240, or even, you know, almost 4xing, and that would be at 320. So, and that takes us back to the $1,000 to $1,200 region when you pull that fib. So it all kind of lines up together when you draw that fib out, and that's in that $1,200 to $1,000 region. So let's see, and it also lines up with our flagpole as well. So let's see where that next move takes us. When you take a look at the S&P 500, you can see that we broke this initial trend line here. It looks like we're falling to the secondary trend line that we have established since October 2022, marking these lows together. And maybe this is where we get our next bounce. Maybe we get here, and then we continue moving up from there. We'll see how it plays out. The sentiment's been very bearish in general on the entire market. So the S&P's been down a total of about 11%. So let's see how far down it can go. These are buying opportunities in my opinion. So not financial advice, but these are usually good opportunities, whether you're buying ETFs or stocks or index funds, mutual funds, whatever you're buying. These are usually pretty solid opportunities. Oh, it actually dates back to March 2020 when you connect these lows. So maybe this is where we get our bounce, and then that bullish sentiment will drive Bitcoin and MicroStrategy up along with it. But we did fall underneath our 50-week on the S&P 500, and the daily we're underneath all three, so we need to claim that 200 for sure. And on the Bollinger Bands, we're at the bottom band, which we don't normally spend too much time at. Unless we're in an absolute downtrend, we normally spend most of our time at the red band, hugging it. As you can see here, we hug it most of the time. Then we have our short moves between green and blue, green and blue, green and blue, and then hug red. Short time at green, hug red. So hopefully this is a short period at the green, and then we just start hugging the red again to the upside. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.